Alright, I told you I'd be getting on here earlier, but I was held up by an interview at Midland Community TV. We're putting together a documentary and they decided they wanted an interview as well, so it ran a little longer than I thought. I have a couple things. I'm going to try to keep this video short about my rant here for Bill Schuette and Brian Calley. As most of you know, Bill Schuette added some more charges to Darnell Early, which was the emergency manager for the Flint water crisis, and during that time. Well, I have some issues with this, and my issues are he's charging with involuntary manslaughter, which is fine. I agree with the charges because of the Legionnaires and the Flint water crisis in general. But where I have an issue is why hasn't he charged Schleiger with these same charges, if not at least with gross negligence and misconduct of office, to say the least. It kind of, and I hate to say this, but it kind of pisses me off, and it should the majority of the people in Michigan. Now, Darnell Early, who, like I said, is the emergency manager, okay, he answered directly to Rick Schleiger, our current governor. Now, I also feel that Brian Calley has a part in this as well, at least under misconduct of office. These are, you know, as we all know, Rick Schleiger's our governor. I don't like to say it anymore because I feel he's let the state down and the people down. Brian Calley is our lieutenant governor. Now, these two men should at all times know what's going on in our state. But they like to keep telling us, even today, that they did not know about Flint for a year. Well, I find this highly improbable, especially when Rick Schleiger's chief of staff, and I don't have his name here currently, but he told Rick Schleiger back in February of 2015 that there was an issue in Flint with Legionnaires. I've said this over and over and over. That should have been red flags for the state to investigate. But no, they ignored the people of Flint. Now, Bill Schuette should be recusing himself from this case, in my opinion. Now, I'm waiting for some comments on here that they feel I'm being too strongly against Rick Schleiger, Brian Calley, and Bill Schuette. But Bill Schuette's just as much a part of this as the other two men mentioned. This is why I put out Michigan's Most Wanted, the video that I have all three of them listed in wanted posters. Now, I've gotten some blowback on it, but I don't care. The problem is, these three men should have been out there helping Flint well before the year was up. And again, I'm going to say this, Flint is my hometown. I grew up, I was living in Davison, and Flint was my stomping ground. So yes, I'm pissed off at the way they are treating the people of Flint. Has nothing to do with racial anything with me. It's pure anger at the way they're treating the people. Now, I can go into all kinds of issues with Flint, Saginaw, and Detroit, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going on here after Rick Schleiger, Bill Schuette, and Brian Calley today. Now, Rick Schleiger's sticking up for two of the people that Bill Schuette pressed these charges about. Some of the people that he pressed charges about have been suspended without pay, which they should be. Suspended and put in jail, but hey, I'm not the Attorney General. But I have the two people's names here that Rick Schleiger's standing up, and these are two people. Well, one was charged with involuntary manslaughter, which is Nick Lyon. He's the Michigan's Health Department and the chief medical officer, which is Dr. Eden Wells. She's being charged with obstruction of justice. either way, I don't feel they should be protected by the governor. I think they ought to be suspended as well. But hey, who am I to say? But I will tell you this, and this is a message directly to Bill Schuette and Brian Calley and Rick Schleiger. You better hope that I don't get elected governor, because I will hold you three men accountable. I will not tolerate you destroying one of our cities and poisoning the families in this city. Now, granted, you might not have full responsibility for this, but you do have full responsibility for taking care of the issues, and you have not done it until a year later, and you're still not taking care of it. 1,100 lines, Mayor Weaver, this is all on your backs. You need to get your butt out of your chair and get these lines out in Flint. The people are suffering, and you need to get that taken care of. Now, I don't care if you guys want to attack me, as I am running for governor for 2018 as an independent. Have at it. I won't back down, and I will bring back more information every chance I get. Our families in Flint are suffering, and you're not doing enough. Now, I've had people tell me I shouldn't be. Yes, Mike, they are to blame. You give me one good reason why they shouldn't have some of this blame on their backs, and I'll stop blaming them. Because I'll tell you what, as a governor of a state, you are exceptionally and responsible for knowing what's going on in your state. So anytime, Mr. Mike, that you want to go back and forth with me, I welcome it. I'm not going to back down from anybody. I'll tell you that right now. Well, you're right on that, Vicky. Schneider's protecting his own back. There are people that are starting to flip on him. And why do you think Schuette, he keeps putting out there that Rick Schleiger refuses interviews with the investigation? Well, if that were you or I out there as the common people, they would just put us in jail for obstruction of justice. Now, I realize the governor's office has some protections, but this is not something that he should be being protected from. He needs to answer to the people of Flint and to the rest of the people of the state of Michigan, because I'll tell you why. Because us as the taxpayers are going to be responsible for Flint for decades. We need to get this situation taken care of as quick as possible, and Schleiger holding up the investigation is not the way to go. First off, I'm also upset because Bill Schuette set $7.5 million off to the side for Schneider's defense. The man is a millionaire. He can take care of his own defense. That's part of the reason why I have issues against this. The whole thing is he should be going along with the investigation. If he isn't guilty, then he will be found not guilty, not hiding behind his office. Bill Schuette, like I said, you should be stepping down to recuse yourself, because you're just as much as involved as Brian Calley and Rick Schleiger. You need to have your deputy attorney general take over this case, because you're going to be investigated as well. Okay, what do we got here? There's only one replacing lead and galvanized lines, not the copper lines or lead mains. I've got copper lines and they're not replacing them, even though my latest lead level for 522 is 59 parts per billion. But they're saying it's my problem. Well, let's put it this way. We had a company out of California want to donate $60 million of PVC pipe. Now, granted, that wouldn't have been enough to replace all the lines. I know this. But that would have been $60 million out of the $160 million for the pipes only. Schleiger turned that down because he did not want to spend the money out of state. I didn't see any company here in Michigan donating that, but I'm not 100% sure about that. We did have, I think it was 50-odd plumbing companies here in Michigan that volunteered to help get these lines changed. They're not doing that right now because nobody's getting these lines dug out. So, again, I'm putting this squarely on the leadership of our state, and like I said, I'm not giving them 100% of the blame. Flint had its part in there, and they've already pressed charges against the MDEQ, the Flint water treatment plant people over there. These are all part of it. But I tell you what, Schleiger, Brian Calley, and Bill Schuette need to be brought in on these charges as well. Schuette, he's supposed to be the Attorney General. He's supposed to be protecting the state and the people of the state. He has not done that. That's where I hold him accountable. I hold him accountable for putting up all this taxpayer money for Schneider's defense, and I don't agree with it. And I don't believe the majority of the people of Michigan agree with defending Schleiger with taxpayer dollars. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. So, yes, I am very upset with the way this is going. And, there's other issues that I'm going to be talking about, but this video right here, this live, is strictly going against Schuette and Brian Calley and Rick Schleiger. I welcome your comments and your opinions and your questions. I will answer them to the best of my abilities. If I don't have an answer, I'll let you know that as well. But there's got to be something we can do. And I'll tell you right now, it is not electing Bill Schuette and Brian Calley. Yes, the local plumber union has said that they could get all the lines replaced in 16 months. They were going about it now is a waste of time and money. This is true. I mean, we had a lot of plumbing companies volunteer to do this, to help the people of Flint. The problem is the state did not step up to take care of this. We had, at that point, if I remember right, we had $600 million in our general fund. They could have stepped up and just said, here's $200 million, get as much of it done as you can, let us know when we need more. It isn't going on that way. These people are not moving fast enough. The longer they take to get these lines in and out and replaced, the longer our families in Flint are being poisoned. Yes, they've dropped the lead. Every time they pull out another line, it jars the system and more lead gets dumped into it. Yeah, Vicki, I agree with you. We need to move them all out of office, and that's why I've said over and over, people like me and you need to run for office. But we got to get the people to realize of Michigan that Democratic Party and Republican Party are not who they say they are. They are not for the people of Michigan. All they care about is putting money in their pockets and in the party pockets. We need to get a new way of thinking and get the job done. This is why I'm running for office. This is why I'm so strongly against the two-party system. I've had people call me a communist because I am against the Democrats and the Republicans. I have nothing to do with communism. I care about what's going on in my state. I care about families that are being poisoned because somebody's not moving their butts fast enough. It isn't just a money thing. It's a matter of saving lives. Schleiger said he was going to support the people that were charged and they will maintain their jobs. Yeah, Chris, I already did mention that. Nick Lyons is one of the two that he's going to support, and Dr. Eden Wells is one that he's going to support. They're still in and on the job, even though Nick Lyons was charged with involuntary manslaughter. Schleiger said he will remain on his job until he has been formally charged. Well, he's been formally charged. Get him out of there. So this is all, it's going to go back and forth. I've slowly I'm being attacked by the Republicans, which I don't care. The Democrats are starting to chime in and say their little pieces. I don't care. What I do care about is what's going on in my state. These people are not doing their jobs. And if you elect another Republican, which I doubt this will happen, but do you really think they're going to go against their party lines? No. They're going to follow their party lines for the simple fact if they don't, their political career will more than likely be done. If I can only get in there for one term and straighten as much of this out as I can and I'm done after that because nobody wants to reelect me, fine. We're not supposed to make lifelong careers out of public office. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Vicki. I mean, I understand, but I'll take your support, and I'm sure you're still a registered voter. I mean, we can deal with whatever we need to deal with, but we have to get these lines taken care of in Flint. Bill Schuette, he's against a lot of things for the improvements of Michigan. Brian Calley, well, let me rephrase this. The Republican Party is against a lot of things that could better the state of Michigan. I've been attacked because I'm in full support for legalization of marijuana in Michigan. I mean, do you realize the amount of tax money that could bring? I mean, we've got an estimation, and these aren't from me. These are, if I remember right, oh, good, Jerry, you're on here. If I remember right, Wall Street predicted that if Michigan legalizes marijuana, it'll bring $7.1 billion within, I think it was 2 years or more. So these are things that we need to think about. We need to think about ideas that'll bring Michigan back up in the manufacturing field, the high-tech field, and we need to get our schools and everything up here. The Republicans and Democrats have failed us. They've been telling us they were going to fix our roads for over 40 years. They've been telling us they were going to fix our schools. They haven't done it. This is why I've declared as an independent, because I do not believe or have faith in our two-party system. Well, Vicki, I hope that assures me. I'm glad you're done voting on the party lines. You vote an independent this time. I guarantee you'll get somebody in there that's actually for the people, not the BS games that they're playing with our lives. So I'm telling you, thanks, Jerry. I'm glad you let me know. I was right on the $7.1 billion. I mean, these are all issues that we need to take care of. And if we can't get the Democrats to do it and we can't get the Republicans to do it, hell, they can't even agree on anything. And I'll tell you this, some of their ideas on the Democratic side are good. Some of the ideas on the Republican side are good. The problem is they will not work together. If they didn't come up with the whole idea, they don't want to work with the other side. They want to point fingers at each other and blame each other for not getting the job done. Well, I'm blaming both of their sides for not getting the job done. And this tells me they've lost touch with the people. So this is where I tell you, the people, run for office. Run as an independent. We will create an independent party if we have to. I get in there, we will change the election laws. We will change the rules. Right now, if you run as a Democrat or a Republican, you only need 15,000 signatures to get on the ballot. Me, I have to have a minimum of 30,000 because they don't want one of the other parties to get in there. They are afraid of the other parties opening the doors. I get in there, we'll equalize it so everybody needs the same amount of signatures. We will make this right and fair for the people of Michigan, not two-sided with just the two major parties and against the rest of the state. This isn't how democracy works. These people are supposed to be representing us, and they're not. They're representing their parties. You're right, Vicki. Legalization of marijuana will cut into big pharma profits. That's why they are lobbying against it. But here's a number for you. 70% of the voters in Michigan agree that legalization of marijuana is a good thing. And the reason is because they realize the tax revenue it'll bring in, the jobs that it'll bring, the first year of legalization of marijuana, full year, the estimate is between 25 and 50,000 jobs alone. and we need to keep it strictly Michigan residents. I do not want other states coming in here and opening dispensaries or companies in Michigan for the marijuana industry. We need to keep it strictly Michigan residents. We need to put protections in there for our caregivers and for our dispensaries against the big pharmaceutical companies and the big corporations. And I plan to do that. Yes, again, I am for full legalization of the marijuana, or cannabis as I should be calling it. There's more to it than just the medicinal factors. Our own Constitution was written on hemp paper, if people don't know that already. Thanks, Jerry. I appreciate that. Yes, we've been working together for a while because I do have the endorsement of the Great Lakes Bay region of NORML and of Am I Legalized, and a nice little group called Hippies Helping Homeless. Yes, I have 3 endorsements already. As soon as the Republicans found out, I got attacked at one of the Tea Parties over it. But I'll tell you what, I'll shut anybody down who wants to try it on that category alone, because I have my information. It's all based on Colorado. Effects from medicinal marijuana. Of course, we got off the subject that I'm supposed to be talking about, but hey, here's part of the subject right there. Bill Schuette and Brian Calley in the Republican Party are against legalization of marijuana because they're receiving huge kickbacks from big pharma, insurance companies as well. So these are the issues that we need to deal with, and the only way we're going to get these issues taken care of is by putting an independent in there. Green Party, Libertarian, anything but a Democrat or a Republican. They've proven over and over that they are not really for the people. They're all about the money, for their pockets, for themselves, and for their party lines. And if you think I'm kidding about that, pay attention. They're following party lines right now. You know, I welcome the challenge. I'm going to predict right now that it'll be Bill Schuette, Gretchen Whitmer, and me on that debate stage, because we are headed right now for getting our signatures again. And this time, if Lansing denies my signatures, we are going to court. Of course, Jerry, they're part of the endorsements. You think I'm going to leave Hippies Helping Homeless out? I thought they were a neat little group. So, but again, if you guys think I'm kidding about Bill Schuette on his stance, you go ahead and look him up. I don't know much about Brian Calley other than he likes telling everybody that he threw out the old tax code. Yeah, but he doesn't want to tell you that they increased taxes anyways after he threw it out. All he did was throw out some old tax codes and brought in new ones. And if you don't think I'm telling the truth on that, look at the retirement tax that they put on the people who are in retirement. They're already on a fixed income. Why the heck are we taking more money from them? They worked their lives to get the retirements they have. But no, the greed of the two-party system is, let's tax them, get a little bit more money. Well, we have plans for this, and I will hold Rick Schneider, Bill Schuette, and Brian Calley accountable for their actions with this state and Flint. All I need is your support. We need to get you to get out signed petitions. We need wherever you see my petitions, guarantee you there'll be petitions there for legalization of marijuana. We are pushing hard. We need to get a minimum of 30,000 signatures. And by the time when we're ready to turn in these petitions again, we'll be sending a message to the Republican and Democratic Party that there is a candidate out here that is actually for the people, and he will hold their butts accountable. They will answer to the people of Michigan, and I will see to that. I have people saying that he needs to be put in prison, and I have people saying it's not his fault. Well, part of it is his fault, because he is our governor. He should know what's going on in our state. Bill Schuette should know what's going on in our state at all times, and so should Brian Calley. If they don't, then they're sleeping behind the wheel. And anytime they want to come out and have a forum with me, bring it. Because I'll tell you what, I have my facts and I have my stats. I will not back down. Now, Virginia, I am fighting for Flint. I am currently going up there. I'll be there June 26th. I'll be talking to families up there with special needs children because of the lead situation in Flint and some of the current situations going on up there that insurance isn't working with them like it should be. I've had families calling me that some of the special needs kids are being locked in jail-like cages at some of these institutes that need to be. This stuff has to stop. We're supposed to be protecting our kids, whether they're special needs or not. We're supposed to be protecting them, not harming them. This lead situation, it needs to be taken care of. There's so many things that we need to take care of in Michigan, and the Republicans and Democrats aren't doing a damn thing about it because they're too busy fighting with each other. So yes, I am fighting for Flint. That is my hometown, and I'm going to continue to fight for the state of Michigan. This is stuff that has to be stopped. The only way we're going to get our message across is tell the Republican Party and the Democratic parties to take a hike. Better yet, some people might not approve of it, but hell with it. Tell them to go to hell. They're done playing games with the families of Michigan. And I know, I'm sorry, Dennis, if you watch this video, you'll probably get upset with me for using the language, but I didn't really cuss too bad. I said damn and hell, and I'm sorry, but I feel that way. We need somebody to get in there. We need to gather our like I said before, we're starting a revolution. We are sending a message to the Republicans and the Democrats that we are done playing their BS games. Michigan needs somebody who's going to stand up for the families and the people. Well, Justin, you're one of my supporters, you said, but why only endorsements from cannabis organizations? They're the only ones brave enough to endorse an independent. All right, you know what? Let's do this all in one video. All right, so we're going to run past this half hour. I'm going to tell you why. We've reached out to numerous unions. Unions have their part in our society, and I will not go against them 100%. We've reached out to the Teamsters. We've reached out to the UAW, and we reached out to, Chris, what is it, IBEW, the Boilermaker unions. We've reached out to a whole bunch of unions. Detroit Federation of Teachers. And here's the answer we're getting. We only elect Democrats. Not one of them said they elect Republicans. They only elect Democrats. But when I talk to the individuals who are members of these unions, they like what I have to say. They like what I stand for because I actually stand for the families of Michigan. So that is why I'm only getting cannabis organizations right now, because they are the brave ones that are willing to stand behind an independent. And of course, I'm pretty much the only candidate that is fully backing the cannabis community. And like I said earlier, you might have joined later, Justin, but 70% of the people in Michigan, from what I'm understanding from stats that I've looked at and from stats that I've looked over with members of the cannabis community, 70% of the voters in Michigan want legalization of marijuana. So I look at it this way. I agree with them, and if I can get 50% of those voters, that's 35% of the voters in Michigan, which is a win for an independent. I plan on winning this election. And the reason I say that is because Michigan is ready for an independent. We are tired of the crap that the Democrats and Republicans are bringing. You're right, Virginia. Flint has one of the highest water bills, or rates, I should say, in the state, but yet they're poisoned water. I've heard them say, yes, the levels are dropped below as long as you use a filter. Well, the problem with that is you shouldn't have to use a filter. They shouldn't be dragging their feet on getting these lines out. Mayor Weaver needs, like I said, she needs to get off her butt and start getting this stuff done. Brian Calley and Bill Schuette, and Rick Schneider, they should be pushing to get these lines out, but they're not because they don't care. We need, there you go, Chris, the IBEW Union Boilermakers. Yeah, I mentioned them already, plus the UAW, which if you guys want, I can give you some names of these union people that we've reached out to. I mean, you have I.B. Bailey of the Detroit Federations of Teachers. I've reached out, and Cindy, you're a friend on my Facebook, Cindy Estrada, and I'll probably get yelled at from members of my committee for mentioning her name. She's vice president of the UAW. This is stuff that we need to change. These unions have to stop telling their members who to vote for. And the members need to stand up to their unions and tell them, no, we're going to vote for whoever we want. I tell you to vote for the candidate that is there for you, the people, for your families, for your communities. Not these ones that are going to sit there and mislead you. How many times have you voted for a Republican or a Democrat? They've told you exactly what you wanted to hear and then turn around and done the exact opposite. I have a senator right here in my community, which is Jim Marlew. Yeah, he helped push this retirement tax here in Michigan. He's a Republican. He's getting ready to move to Boca Raton, Florida, so he doesn't have to pay that retirement tax. Yeah, he's my senator. And I told him he's an idiot. Sorry, Dennis, I called him an idiot. I apologize. Brad Jacobson, a state rep, my area, Republican. They're grooming everybody that they can to follow them in their footsteps. Well, he was told that he was going to be the next senator to take Jim Marlew's place, but guess what? He got a cushy job. He's now I believe he's the director of the liquor control here in Oakland County. Oh, that's much better paying than as a state rep. Yeah, so this is the things that I'm talking about. This is what's going on in our society with our elected officials. And people, we need to stop that. You got Bill Schuette and Brian Calley talking about part-time legislature. We are a part-time legislature. How much more time do you want them to work? I know most of us would say nothing. But I'll tell you what. I don't believe in the part-time legislature, and I'll tell you why. We make them work for full-time like we do as the common people. We won't have 10 bills stacked up behind them so that we don't know what's going on. We'll make them pass one bill at a time like we do at our job, one part at a time, or one load at a time. Whatever it takes, we need to get the stuff done for the people of Michigan. Our families are suffering. I had a brain fart. Sorry. Yes, Jerry, together we will put Michigan back to work with good pay. And a lot of that starts with tax restructuring in Michigan. I've heard Gretchen Whitmer out there say that she's going to help lower the cost or try to fight the cost of health insurance here in Michigan. Why try? Do it. Every time I go out there to talk to people, we will lower health insurance 50%. We'll force Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, Aetna, and all of them to compete, but at 50% of the rate. How much money would that save your family? It saved mine over $500 a month. Auto insurance. We have a plan to make sure auto insurance is cut 47%. That's the kind of stuff we need to help grow our middle class. That's the kind of stuff that our families can have extra money to go do things with their kids. And hopefully they decide to take their vacation right here in the great state of Michigan. If not, fine, have fun. and enjoy vacation in another state. But the problem is we need to make these things affordable for the people of Michigan. They are mandatory. They need to be affordable. These are things that I've got written down to change, and I have the plans to do it. My numbers for our health insurance program that I've been talking about, I took directly from Blue Cross Blue Shield. They made, the industry as a whole in Michigan for health insurance made a profit of $80 billion. That's with the B. Not a million, but billions. And yet they laughed at me because they can't survive on $40 billion profit. The key word is profit. It's greed is all it is. We have lawmakers right now. They constantly want to put their opinions into the laws. It's not about their opinion. It's about what your constituents and your districts want. It isn't for you to put your opinions and your beliefs in. It's what the constitutional right is in you listening to your districts and congressional districts. You need to start paying attention. This is why I'm angry, and this is why I'm running for governor. Because I will listen to the people. I will fix our roads. I will lower our health insurance in Michigan. I will lower our auto insurance in Michigan. And I will eliminate our property tax on our primary residence. And again, that is by restructuring our entire tax system, making it fair across the board. Something the elected officials in Lansing can't seem to get through their head. They know exactly what they're going to pay Michigan. They will come here and we will still have a thriving state. Our schools, they don't want to put the time and effort in there to actually fund our schools properly. How about putting the money into our teachers and to our classrooms and stop putting it into the administration because they're not running the schools. It's the teachers and the principals, not the damn superintendents and the boards. It's the teachers and the principals running our schools. You know, the parents are involved in there as well. There's so much that needs to be changed in Michigan because we've waited so long to get somebody in there with common sense. And again, I've reached out to numerous unions. I'm willing to talk to anybody that will listen. And most of the people that I've talked to has swung over to my side. They see where I'm going with this. They see that I'm willing to stand up and fight for our families. I could care less what the Republican Party does or the Democratic Party. As far as I'm concerned, they could disappear and we'd have a People's Party. You're right, Jerry. I'm for the people and by the people. That's what our Constitution says, and that's what it will be. These issues have to be addressed. They have to be taken care of. I'm sure you know families that are suffering because of lack of being able to find a job. A lot of this is because of overtaxation and, again, misappropriation of our tax dollars. We have roads that need to be fixed. We have an infrastructure that, with the plan that I have written down, would create 150 to 250,000 jobs. These are things that need to be taken care of in Michigan. But nobody is addressing them like they need to be. It's always the Democrats against the Republicans. They can't get their job done because they can't get each other to agree. Well, like I said, they don't want to agree with each other. They want to have it the Republican way or the Democratic way. Who's ever in power is the one that wants it that way. I could care less what's going on in Washington. The reason I say that is because the governor of the state has more authority in his state than the man or woman that's sitting in Washington in charge. Milford, I'm going to give you a correction here because it was given to me. The term personal property tax, we don't have personal property tax. But that was thrown at me when I put it. It is out on my cards, my old cards, and I had a clerk, I think she was from Lapeer County, correct me. We don't have personal property tax. Me, I don't care. But the whole thing is we will eliminate the property tax on your primary residence only. Okay? The reason we're doing this is to help build home ownership. If we eliminate that, that opens up the possibility of people who are renting that can actually afford a home. And when you get homeowners in a community, they start to care about their community. And I'm not knocking people who rent, but once you get yourself into your first home, there's a sense of pride that comes with it. And that pride shows on your community. What do you mean, what is it now, Milford? This video is running a heck of a lot longer than I wanted, but that's fine. I will stay here as long as I can. But like I said, we are out here for the people. I'm calming down now. I was angry with Bill Schuette and all this because I'm angry because he's charging these people with involuntary manslaughter who actually answered to Rick Schneider personally. Huh. That's interesting how you said that, Virginia. There's a lot of things that are going on with our youth that needs to be addressed. But I don't know how to answer that one that you put out there right at this time. So this is, I won't sidestep your question, but can you be more precise? Because I'm pretty sure I don't know how you want me to answer that. But again, we need to, as a state and as the citizens or residents of Michigan, we need to pay attention to who's being elected. I am pushing for as many independents as I can. I have Marcia Squire. She's running for U.S. Senate. She's an independent running against Debbie Stabenow. I am supporting her campaign as well because we need to get as many independents in there as we can. We need to get fresh thinking in there. We need to think outside the box. We need to get in there and help the families of Michigan. We will rebuild the middle class. We will increase the family incomes in Michigan. We will put people back to work. The welfare system, we will put some of them back to work, as many as possible. We will stop generations of being on the welfare system who have never worked before. We will get them jobs. So believe me when I say this, everything I put together is based on 80% of the people in Michigan. 80%. I'd love to say 100%, but I can't make 100% of you happy. Mike's one of those people I couldn't make happy. He doesn't agree with me. He thinks the Republican Party is a great thing. He thinks Rick Schneider's doing a great job. I can't convince him differently because he has his mind made up. And, we are all welcome to our own opinions. I don't deny you that. But look at the way Michigan's going. The two-party system, all they are doing is managing our demise. They're not managing to help build our families. They're not managing to help cut cost for our families in Michigan. They're managing our demise and lining their pockets. So you're right. There's a lot of regulations that need to be changed and updated, Virginia. We have a huge part of the society in all kinds of manufacturing jobs and minor jobs also as well that are overly regulated, and some are under-regulated. They need to be taken care of and done properly. A lot of that would be us getting business owners together and speaking with me and telling me what they feel needs to be done and see if there's something that we can do. But the only way we're going to do it is by communicating. And the Republican and Democratic parties, they're not communicating with each other, they're arguing. So, but I think I've said enough. Unless somebody else has another question, I'm going to end this live Facebook feed here. But you're all welcome to join the committee or campaign. We are looking for volunteers. We're looking for contributions. We're looking for time. If you have either of that you want to contribute to the campaign, we'll accept any of it. We are looking for volunteers to help go out canvassing here pretty quick. We are doing real well with our signature drive, but we can always use help to go canvassing. I will go with anybody who wants to go canvassing. You let me know the area. I have to get out to Portage because I had some young lady who said that if I come out there and canvassing, she'll give me a free jar of homemade strawberry jam. And you know, I love my strawberry jam, so I'm going to have to find, she didn't give me her address, but she told me the street, so I'm going to go up and down that street until I knock on her door. So I'll do that for anybody who wants to give me some homemade strawberry jam. Within reason. I don't need cases of it or anything. And you're welcome, Virginia. I will be fighting for the families in Flint and the state of Michigan. I will not back down at no cost. We need to get somebody in there who cares, really cares, not just runs off at the mouth. So with all this, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in and listening to me. Again, I'm going to repost this video out there on Facebook. We're going to put it out there on any group that will accept it. We're spreading the word. Spread it to your family, friends, whatever we can do. Whoever wants to help out on the campaign, whoever wants to make a contribution, we accept all forms of help. If you want to get involved with the campaign, we'll accept you with open arms, no questions asked. We just need to get out there, get these signatures, get contributions, and get this thing rolling. Well, we've been rolling for over a year and a half. You just haven't heard or seen as much of me as you have lately. But we're doing this for the people of Michigan, not for the parties, not for myself. We need help, and the only way to do it is to get somebody else in there that cares. No, Chris, if I get that jar of homemade strawberry jam, I'm not sharing. But she doesn't think I'm going to come looking for her, so yes, and you can have some too, I see. But she doesn't think I'm really going to show up on her door. I don't know if I will. I don't know how long Evergreen is in Portage, but we'll find out. All right, that's enough. Now, I can't share all my strawberry jam, guys. So we're going to get out there soon. And again, we have a volunteer that every Thursday is out at the Rabbit Hole in Bay City. He's collecting signatures for my campaign and for the cannabis movement. He will also have a form there that you can sign up as a volunteer. We utilize the volunteers in their areas, so don't think that we're going to ask you to come from Kalamazoo over to Lapeer or vice versa. We utilize you in your own communities. So I don't want you to think we're going to make you drive all the way up north to be in the parade with us in Mankato, well, unless you want to, that's not an issue. If you want to come up and walk in a parade this July 7th in Mankato, Michigan, which is up by Oscoda, you can walk out there with us. This third signature drive, Justin, we just currently started. I think we have near 2,000 out of the 30,000. We still need 28 or 28,500, somewhere right in there. But we currently want to actually go for 45,000, not just the 30,000. We want to send a message to Lansing that we're here. I can even mail petitions out to you if you want 2 pages. Each page is 12 signatures. They're not that hard, but anybody that wants to receive petitions from me, I can mail them to you. And we can get your help that way. If you want to take the time to go out and have a couple of pages filled out for us, we'll mail them to you. And when you get them filled out, you get a hold of Chris Rusin, myself, and we'll make sure somebody comes out and picks them up. And I don't know if you have questions about filling these out. Ask. They're not real hard to fill out, but they have to be done properly so that they count. But we will do whatever we have to get these signatures out there and get whatever we can to get the people out there help for Michigan. We need somebody in there that actually cares about them. Democrats and Republicans, they can tell me till they're blue in the face that they care about our families. They haven't proven it to me in over 30 years. So you all take care tonight. I thank you for listening to me. And again, I'm accessible on Facebook. I will answer to you. Sometimes it might take till the next morning because I do sleep once in a while. But I will answer to your questions. Whether they're good or bad, I will always try to give you an honest answer. So you all have a great night, and thanks again for watching. And let's get this revolution going.